Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to iRacing for our weekly series that we do on this game. And welcome to what is a very special video. Today it is Battle of the YouTubers. Alongside us on the grid, qualifying P10, is Ben Harrison of LaBrocca Sim Racing. A great guy who's helped me out so much getting into iRacing and even designed the livery that we're running on our Ferrari. So make sure you go and check out his channel. He has a video himself of this race uploaded, so go and check out his perspective because it is a very interesting one. But we're getting ready to go green. We qualified P9, did mess up qualifying a little bit, which if you've been around here for a while you'll know is a tradition on this channel. But we get a good launch. We're going to tuck in behind this Porsche, and into turn 1 the carnage is going to begin almost immediately. You can see the Audi there turning right on a straight, which is not ideal, and we'll see a little bit later on causes a bit of mayhem behind. We're going to cover the inside here. Ben having a little bit of a look there. We maybe think about having to go on the Porsche, but he does chop across our nose. Ben is going to have a look up the inside. There's a little checking up in front of us though, so we're going to take advantage of that. We're going to swoop up the inside of the Ferrari, and we've now got to run on the Porsche that started alongside us in P8. So this is going to be a third position potentially gained on the opening lap. Hopefully we can get this move done into the hairpin. You can see we're nearly 3 wide though, under braking. The Porsche thinks about going for the move. We have to leave space on the inside. Don't want to chop across him and spin, but that's going to compromise us on the exit, and he is going to get that move done, unfortunately. So we don't gain that position, but we have gained obviously 2 off the start. Up to P7 now, and we're going to try, and are we going to go for a move into Mercedes? I do think about it, but we are a little bit too far back to be thinking of a dive bomb into there. But as we come through here, keep an eye in the rear view mirror. We get a little bit of a twitch, but nothing compared to the blue car behind. A huge snap of oversteer, and he has gone for a visit to the barrier, unfortunately. But we don't do too much better. As we come into here, we get a huge snap at high speed. We do manage to stop the car spinning, but unfortunately we're off in the gravel, and through goes Ben and a whole host of other cars. We're down now to I think about P12, P13, stuck behind a Lamborghini. You can see we've got 2 Ferraris as well before we can get back to Mr. Harrison. And unfortunately that's going to be a very difficult task, as overtaking in GT3s is a lot easier said than done. So we've made this race difficult for ourselves. We got all the way up to P7 I think it was in the end, and as we look at the timing in the bottom right, or the new timing tower you can see in the top left, we're down to P12. So we've lost 3 places off the start. Not ideal. And we're going to go about setting that right almost immediately as we come onto the back straight. The Lamborghini in front gets a very nice run through the corner, and unfortunately the problem we're going to have here, much like in Formula 1, everyone's in a big slipstream train, which means it's going to be very difficult to try and gain on the back straight. Doesn't mean we're not going to try it. As you can see, we're not really making any inroads, but as we come into the braking zone, the Lamborghini brakes so much earlier than I expected. I wasn't even trying to go for an overtake there, but I sort of had to avoid crashing into him. So we're up the inside now. We're going to look to the right hand side. Where is that Lamborghini? He's still there. So we need to make sure we leave space. Coming into this very fast right hand kick. What's going to happen here? The Lamborghini chooses to back out. We take the inside, and that is 1 position at least gained. And we can now set our sights on the Ferrari of Yoya Ruahisto. I do apologise, I have probably butchered that pronunciation. But we've got a little bit of an air gap now, 1.1 seconds for us to try and close in. But I think we're probably going to have the pace to do this. We probably, to be honest, had the pace to qualify, maybe in the front 2 or 3 places. But unfortunately, like I said, I did bottle qualifying and only qualified P9, and then my mistake has put us down even further. But you can see we've got Ewa ahead, we've got Dan Hoyer, and then Ben is starting to get away a little bit in the early phase of this race. He is still in the slipstream, I believe, of the car in front, which is going to be helpful. We get a big snap of oversteer through the final corner. I could never quite get that turn right in all the practice I did. But as we come into turn 1, you can see we get a much better run than the car ahead. We use all the curb we are allowed to on the outside. Don't get a 1x for that. And we're going to be nice and decisive. Move to the inside early. Take the inside line. We go a little bit too deep though, which is going to put us susceptible to the up and under from Yoya. He tries to hold it around the outside. We get a big snap of oversteer, and he chooses to back out. So that is another position gained. We're now into the top 10. But you can see all this battling, we have lost so much time to the guys ahead. You've got Tobias Whipperman, Ben Harrison, and then Dan Hoyer. The car behind shaped for a move up the inside here, but he doesn't go for it. We're nice and late on the brakes, and that is a position gained. And we need to now try and set about trying to close that gap, because it is up to about 2 seconds as we come out the hairpin. But this is the part of the track really that I felt the strongest. Nice and quick through that kink, and then under braking. The track temp was extremely high. I believe it's about 37, 38 degrees for this session, if my memory serves me correctly, which is quite high by iRacing standards. And getting the car stopped, if you watch Ben's video, actually was very, very difficult indeed. You can see we've already gained about 2 or 3 tenths through about 3 corners already on Dan Hoyer. Used all the circuit and more using the outside curve, which you are allowed to do on this game. Really helping. We go a little bit too deep into there. You want to keep it into the camber on the inside, but look at the delta on the dash. We've finally got some free air, and now we're 0.8 of a second up on our previous lap, showing just how much time that we were losing behind those guys. Through the final corner, we do just clip that inside curve. It does compromise our run just a little bit, but if we look at the timing tower, you can see we've got the pace. Even with being stuck behind that car for turn 1, we're a couple of tenths quicker than the cars in front, and we're going to try and use that pace now to try and close the gap. But while we do that, let's take a look at that carnage into turn 1. The Audi, like we said, just turning right onto a straight, not ideal, hits the barrier but causes absolute carnage by getting stuck in the middle of the circuit. Saw a little bit of contact there, so let's take a look at what happened to the BMW. Tries to go around the outside of the Porsche, checks up, just a little bit of contact, spins out, and you're going to see at the top of the screen another car off. The Ferrari on the main straight, so that's 3 cars pretty much taken out of contention almost immediately. Not what you want to see. And then the car behind us that we saw absolutely spearing off at the start, off he goes. That's an unfortunate spin for him there, straight into the wall, and that is his race pretty much ruined already. But in sympathy, as always, we decided to make a mistake on lap 1. You can see as we come into the corner, just a snap of oversteer there, the car just bottoming out, and we're off into the gravel. Unfortunately, as you can see, the cars stream through, and we're back down into P12. We rejoin the live action now though, all the way onto lap number 8, so it did take a little bit of a while for us to close back up to Ben and Dan up in front, but I didn't want to push too hard. With the tyre temps such a factor on this game, and with the track temp being as high as it was, I just decided to ease up. I didn't want to use too much of the tyre too early, because I thought later on in this race things were going to get a little bit spicy, and boy was I right. But as we come into the hairpin hand, you can see Dan shaped for a move. Ben moves over and covers that one off. I thought maybe we might have a little chance to be able to sneak up the inside there, get a nose alongside, but Dan chopped across there, and there's no chance at all of us trying to get a move done. But you can see Dan showing the first few signs here. He wants to try and get this move done on Ben, and it is going to start costing them time if they're battling. So we've got to watch him brief here. We've got to be careful. We don't want any contact or anything like that. We do want to try and get a move done, and we want our chance to try and redeem ourselves and get back ahead of Ben Harrison. As we come into the stadium section, you can see we do carry a lot more entry speed into this corner, and compared to the 2 guys in front, we were using a lot more of the outside curb. I don't know if it was a confidence thing or if they just didn't realise you could actually use it, but it was definitely an advantage as we come into this final stadium section. And some different lines coming on here. You can see I think we got caught up a little bit of dirty air there. Just really compromises us, and that would be the theme of the next couple of laps. It would compromise our exit down the straight. And you can see we've lost a bit of time now, 7 tenths behind, and it just meant we were way too far back to get a move done on the back straight. You can see, even though we're quicker with Ben really struggling with understeer, going off to the outside, we're just too far back. We're not going to be in range now to send a move into the hairpin, despite the fact you can see we're so much better on the brakes into that corner, but we're going to be just too far back. Dan though has a fantastic run, and this might be his opportunity now to try and get this move done on Ben. Ben stays to the right hand side. He's going to try and force Dan to the outside. I think Dan is following him in the slipstream. Which way is he going to go? He's going to fake to the left. He pulls out to the right, and this is an opportunity now to see just how much later we were on the brakes. Dan is going to be caught up a little bit behind Ben. Again, just trying to get a nose along the inside there. Because if we can get that nose in, it's going to compromise his exit. We can maybe try and have a run down here, but still frustrated in this battle, still in P9. Ben doing a wonderful job, I have to say, considering how much he was struggling talking to him after the race, but fair play to him. He's P7, Dan's still P8, we're P9, but we need to try and get this move done. If you look in the top right there, Emian Burak, I think I pronounced that terribly, look at that last lap for him, a 38.4. He's nearly 2 seconds a lap quicker. So if we can't find a way through this, he's going to be on our back very, very quickly, and that changes the whole dynamic then. At the minute, we're just pointing forward. All our focus is on trying to get past Dan, as we make another mistake into the stadium section. But if Emirhan catches up behind us, then we're going to have to start thinking about our mirrors, and that could maybe cost us in our battle to try and get another position. But once again, just like I said, another mistake into the stadium section means we are going to be too far back. Then again struggling with understeer through that first corner. And yeah, it's really a sign that he's starting to struggle with the tyres now. If you come into here, the Ferrari of Dan has a half-hearted look. I don't think he meant to go for that move, but he just had a little bit more overspeed. And this could now be our opportunity. While Dan's got his full focus on Ben in front, can we try and sneak a position? So once again, goes defensive, thinks about the inside, swoops to the outside line, and that is exactly what I wanted to see. Because if Ben can hold him outside now, we might be able to get underneath him in the braking zone. But I, once again, brake a bit too late, and to avoid hitting him, I have to go to the outside. That's not what I wanted. We are going to get a switchback though. Can we get the run off the corner? A little bit of a squirm there for Dan. You can see, we're trying to go to the inside. We force him defensive, but in our haste to try and get the move done, we were a little bit unsighted through the kink. It means we missed the apex massively. And yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't get a move done into Mercedes, but we are right under his rear wing now. And he definitely knows we're there. Again, a wash of understeer through that corner. And, you know, a couple of tenths lost, which is not ideal. But I'm beginning to think now we've got the pace. If we can keep the stadium section nice and tidy, if we can keep ourselves in contention as we come into the last few stages here, only 4 minutes of this race to go, there is a potential we can get Dan. And then we might have our chance, finally, of the YouTube face-off with Ben Harrison. But as we come into the stadium, you can see we don't mess that up this time. Can we get a nice run out the second part? We do indeed. And yeah, this is the closest we've been in a very long time. But look in the mirror, I said it was going to happen. Emirhan Buyrak has gained that 4-second gap that we had. It's disappeared already. Ben off once again on the outside. Dan, is he going to go for a move into turn 2? Again, no he's not. He's thinking about getting the exit off this corner, which is what we are also going to do, because we've got to get this move done now. Emirhan is behind us. We don't want to have to fight him. And Dan's made the mistake. That's what we were waiting for. We're going to have the slipstream from Ben. We've got the overspeed from Dan squirming on the exit. And we're through now around the outside. It's a great little move there. Patience finally paying off. But as we come into the braking zone, look in your mirrors. A huge dive bomb from the Porsche there. We have to turn out of the corner to make sure we don't hit him. And that was an absolutely outrageous dive bomb there. We're going to squeeze him to the inside. I'll be honest, I was not best pleased with that move. From how far back he dived it into the corner. We're going to try and hold it around the outside of this kink. And as we come into Mercedes, going to squeeze him to the outside. We're not giving him any room. And we do just about manage to hold on to that position. But as you can see, it's given Ben a chance, a little bit of breathing room. But let's take a look at that move again, because I'll be honest, I was not best pleased at the time with this manoeuvre. Look how far back he is into the braking zone, just spears it up to the inside. And if we don't turn out of that corner, we're making massive contact. We're probably getting taken out of the race there, if we're being honest. And yeah, I was not very happy, not only for the move, but also if it's costing us a chance at Ben. But look at this move from the off-board camera. You can see, if we turn into that corner, we're getting T-boned. So, yeah, not the best. A little bit of contact on the exit as well. But as we go on to the penultimate lap, you can see we are now back within 7 tenths of Ben. This is going to be our best opportunity. There are only 2 laps of this race to go. Again, Ben struggling with the braking into turn 1. We get a nice run off the corner. And I know, considering how Emirhan absolutely dived up the inside last time, we've got to get this move done now, otherwise we're probably going to get overtaken. So as we come onto the straight, we get a nice exit off that corner. We're going to have the tow from Ben. We're about half a second back. I'm not sure that the tow is going to be worth that much time. We are gaining a little bit. You can see on the delta at the bottom that is going up. We've got the overspeed. We're too far back though. We're going to feint to the inside, try and put Ben off into the braking zone, but in doing so, again, the Porsche sends a huge dive up the inside. We nearly rear-end Ben. We had to turn out the corner to avoid hitting him, and that has allowed the Porsche through. We're going to have the better run on the exit, so once again, we're going to be battling with Emirhan through the kink. We're going to hold it once again around the outside. As we come into here, we're going to hit the braking zone. He brakes late, but then brakes really, really hard for some reason. I wasn't quite expecting him to slow down quite as suddenly as he did, but he's still there on the inside. We're going to leave him space, and this is great racing through the middle sector, still side by side. As we come into the fast right-hander, we're going to try and hold it around the outside, but fortunately we just run out of talent. We've carried way too much speed in. A huge four-wheel drift. Somehow we managed to hold the car there. I have no idea how we didn't spin off. But yeah, that is 2 positions lost. and unfortunately it looks like we are not going to be able to get a run at Ben. He is going to win the battle of the YouTubers, and unfortunately, as you can see, we come around the final corner and it's going to be a P10 for us in the end. Not the race we wanted. We did lose a place from where we started, but a fantastic race. Fair play to Ben. Some incredible defensive work from him. And yeah, unfortunately, not the result that we wanted. There you have it, folks. The end of a fantastic race. Like I said, do go and check out Ben's perspective, linked in the card in the top right corner and down in the description. And if you want to see more intense racing like that one, check out the video on the screen now.